Hello everyone, welcome to the Undercut and welcome to our predictions for the United States Grand Prix. And I say United States and not Texas because this is really the United States Grand Prix, isn't it?
Oh, well,
Fuck
yeah.
Miami and Vegas!
I mean,
Sorry.
no. I mean, we can fuck Miami off. I'm not bothered about that, but Vegas is, well, last year was a good race. You can't,
Yeah, it was.
you're just not happy because you just love Texas.
I love Texas. I love Texas.
I love
It's one of my
Texas,
favourite
but
races of the season.
You've got some weird fetish for it.
I love Texas. Yeah. Let's go. So we spoke about Austin a lot in the break. Last year was obviously another Max Verstappen win, but it wasn't as dominant as probably some of his other ones. Lewis Hamilton had a very good race. Unfortunately, got disqualified. It was all right.
Yeah, no, it was a good race last year.
Yeah.
I think it's a track that brings cars closer together. Obviously, it's usually at the end, so cars do converge more towards the end. But it was one of them where you had Lando in the mix as well for a while.
Yep.
You had, well, the Ferraris were a bit off the pace, weren't they? But Lewis was hunting Max.
He was.
So I'm anticipating another good one here. It's usually a good one round here.
Yeah, it is. I'm very, very excited. Let's just jump straight into the predictions then, because we've got more than just the race and the qualifying to predict. We've obviously got the sprint to predict as well.
Sprint weekend.
So let's just get into this then, shall we? Give me your sprint pole position.
Max Verstappen.
Have you gone Max?
Obviously, Red Bull bringing upgrades.
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna, because we've got one practice session. I don't know. I just feel Red Bull are gonna come out of the blocks bouncing, and I think Max is just gonna do something in sprint quali, and he's just put him on pole. I don't think Red Bull are gonna be miles clear.
Yeah.
I'm not saying these upgrades are gonna put them. They're definitely first, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I think it's one of them where Max just pulls out a lap.
That's fair. Okay. For sprint pole position, I have gone with Lewis Hamilton. I just think he goes very well around here, and we've seen multiple times this season in the early practice sessions, Mercedes seem to have the pace, and it's not until maybe after practice 3 they seem to drop off, maybe slightly. I just think Mercedes might be on the pace. It's a track similar to the likes of Britain, where the characteristics favoured the Mercedes car. Lewis Hamilton goes well around here. He's very quick around here. He was last season. He has been for the last 10 or so years. I just think he'll come here. All the other drivers getting up to speed, and Hamilton will do something special in quali, and I think he'll put it on pole.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
fair.
Let's move on to the sprint race then. Who is your top 3 starting in 3rd place?
Lewis 3rd.
Yep.
Max 2nd. Lando 1st.
So you've gone with a little Max pole, but a Lando win.
Yeah, I mean, getting off the line. Obviously, you start 2nd. You have got that inside line going into turn 1. So if you're alongside, as we've seen many occasions, you can get elbows out, push them a bit wide. So I just think that inherent race pace that McLaren have will still be hard for Red Bull to overcome as well. I think we've got to watch Mercedes this weekend, as you've said. Britain, they were thereabouts with McLaren, if not faster at times. So, yeah, I've gone with Lando. I think Max will be in and amongst it with these upgrades. I think Red Bull will be closer than what they have been. But I think we're looking at could be a good 3-way fight between the 3 that it was last year.
That's interesting. I sort of went similar. For my sprint race, I went with Max 3rd,
Yeah.
Oscar Piastri second, and Lando
Okay.
Norris first. Even though I've given the pole to Lewis, I think the McLaren has stronger race pace. The form of Lando and Oscar is they're both unbelievable form right now. And with the Red Bull upgrades, I think Max may be that tad bit quicker. I think Lewis could lose out on a podium here and possibly even finish 4th or 5th, depending on
Maybe.
where obviously the Ferrari is or George. So I think even though race pace is Lewis's strong suit this season, I just think the McLarens will be too quick, and I think Max will be too quick. One of them might get him into turn 1, and I don't see Hamilton, if they are quicker, being able to defend down the straights, especially against that McLaren, which we saw is very quick in a straight line. We know the Red Bull is can be quick in a straight line as well. So
the Mercedes is quick in a straight line.
it is, but this isn't a street circuit anymore. It isn't hard to pass. We've got multiple DRS zones, different overtaking opportunities.
We saw at Monza as well. Mercedes was quick in a straight line.
But so is the McLaren. Yeah, if we're
So is the
talking,
McLaren.
if we're talking about,
Yeah, but straight line speed wise, Azerbaijan sector 3, if you remember, Mercedes got all their time back. What was time to them in sector 3?
yes, they did.
They have got speed, and the McLaren speed in Azerbaijan, if we remember, was a little bit dicey with the flexi DRSe. Really.
Yeah, but that's why they're quick, though, right? So.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to do that anymore.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I take all that back. Lewis is gonna finish second.
The Mercedes is quick in a straight line.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. Just ignore me. Anyway, let's move on to your pole position for the race. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Just ignore me. No, fucking ignore me. Plus, I've just said Hamilton's race pace is going to be bad. What am I on? Hamilton's race pace is usually the better part of his. Yeah, just ignore me. Go on, you do. You fucking move on to your pole.
Okay, Lando Norris.
Okay, I've also gone with Lando Norris.
Well, that's quite boring, isn't it? I mean, McLaren are just naturally. I mean, if we're going off race results before the break, pace before the break, I think your best bet is to go with McLaren. I think we've all got that niggling feeling Red Bull could be back with these upgrades, but we don't know how these upgrades are going to perform. We've had it where teams are bringing upgrades before, and they just haven't worked. So, again, it's 50-50 with Red Bull, and I think you're safe, sure bet, if you were to guess who's going to go on pole, would be a McLaren. It would be Lando Norris. If you look at Oscar Piastri last season at Austin, did not go well at all. So I think Lando Norris is your bet for pole here.
If I'm playing devil's advocate, though, there has been times where upgrades really do work. Yeah,
they do.
I'm just saying, Red Bull could be once again the dominant car.
Yeah, and happen. I'm not taking that possibility out. It could be. If it is, it's just going to be a max weekend, and we're all going to kill ourselves. But we can hope that it's not.
We could hope.
And we don't know for certain whether these upgrades are going to be of the level of Mercedes went from being the 5th fastest to the fastest by Britain. We don't know if it's going to be that level of upgrades.
No.
Or if it's going to be the Ferrari upgrades from Imola.
No, we don't know. I've also gone with Lando, though, because... Yeah, I mean, it's boring, but, for the championship, for where Lando came off the back in Singapore and the form he's in, just you feel like if Red Bull don't bring the sauce to Austin, that Lando is just gonna, he's gonna have time to embed himself after the sprint. Maybe if he doesn't have a good sprint, he'll definitely come out in qualifying and he'll probably put it on pole.
More than likely.
Top 3.
Top three. Third, I've gone with Georgie Russell.
Jorginho. Why? I've not George. To my memory, George hasn't gone well around here. Well, not that he hasn't gone well. It's just Hamilton always outperforms him.
Yeah,
Why Russell on the podium?
because I think the Mercedes will be pretty decent, like we saw in Britain.
Okay.
So I think Ferrari are probably going to be the fourth quickest team this weekend. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Perez is made redundant. So it is just the two McLarens, George, Max, Lewis. I think Oscar's form did not fill me with hope from Austin last year. I mean, his form this year, I can't fault it. But if I'm looking at the drivers that are thereabouts around him, they have pedigree round here, probably barring George. But if you look at Max, you look at Lewis, Lando last season. I don't know. So I took Oscar out, and it was between Max and George for third, and I went George.
It's logical. It's logical.
I just think Mercedes are gonna be on the pace of the front two this weekend. I've got the feeling we're back at a track. We're back at a track with characteristics such as Britain, a little bit of Belgium. They both won there. Austria's in there. They went well round there. So Hungary, they went pretty decent round there, picking up another podium. So we're back at a track that's similar to these tracks. So I just think Mercedes are going to be back at the top, fighting it out. And I think George is a pretty decent fighter on a track, and I think he's going to pick up a podium.
Well, let me guess then. Second place. Lewis Hamilton.
No.
Lando Norris.
It's Lando Norris.
Oh, fuck's sake. Lewis is winning.
Lewis is winning. We're getting another win.
Oh, no.
What do you mean, no?
It's no for the title. It can't happen. We can't manifest this, Jack.
Max is fourth, technically.
Yeah, but what if Max is fourth? Then we need Lando to win with the fastest lap.
Well, it's not my fault that Lewis will be quick.
Oh, yeah, I'm a Lewis fan. I would like to see Lewis win, but I need this championship to get interesting by the last race.
It's not my fault that Lewis is going to win.
Okay. All right, that's okay. Fair enough. I mean, you set it up with Russell, and then you delivered it with Lewis. So
yeah,
that's we all know where your cards are placed this weekend.
We've got the layoff, we've got the finish.
That's it. I thought you were mad for putting Russell third, because I think Mercedes will be quicker, but I think they'll be quicker than Ferrari. I don't think they'll be quicker than McLaren and Max. I just can't see it.
I think they'll be there.
I can't see it, but for an exception, I have gone in my top three. Lewis Hamilton third. No, because it's. I don't think the Mercedes will be quicker than them three, but I think Lewis Hamilton will be. I think Lewis Hamilton is the exception here.
Look,
so
was I surprised when we went to Azerbaijan and Singapore? The Mercedes were on the back foot compared to other races. No, because I saw what happened in Monaco. They're street circuits. You've got to remember this is a completely different circuit now. Mercedes' record on these sort of tracks this season, since these upgrades have come in, pretty decent. You got to think Spain, Canada, Britain, Belgium, Hungary. These are all tracks they got podiums on. Pole sometimes.
I'd also argue that Hungary is nothing like this track, but
no, not nothing. No, but it's a track.
I see what you're saying. It's, I mean, that's why I put Hamilton third. I mean, was Mercedes anywhere near the podium in these street tracks? No.
No, because this isn't a street track. That's why
Exactly.
if this was a street track, I'm putting Mercedes bloody sixth.
So I put Hamilton third. I don't think he wins. I just don't. I can't
That's
see
fair.
Mercedes being quicker than McLaren or Max, but I think Hamilton makes the difference. I think Hamilton makes the difference only because he goes very well around here. His race pace has been good, and Mercedes, I think, will be better than Ferrari. I mean, in any case, I think I usually would put Charles here, but obviously, Charles does go well around here, but I
Hmm.
think Ferrari is stinking out the gaff. Second, I've gone Oscar Piastri. I think he has to finish second. Unlike Singapore, he's got to finish second. He has to be beating Max Verstappen. Even if he's not second, he has to beat Max. There's no doubt in my mind that Lando obviously will win. I've got him in first, but I think Oscar has to beat Max. It's crunch time now. We've got 6 races left. Lando has a chance to win this title, and Oscar has to help him. And I think we're
That's
at
why
a
you've
point.
predicted it this way.
That is why I've predicted it this way. Yeah, and no, it is. I do firmly
You just
believe.
want Lando to win.
I do firmly believe, even if Oscar gets pole or even if he doesn't and he sends it into turn 1 and he's first, right? I do think we're at a point where McLaren have to swap him. You have to swap him because Lando, as we saw in Singapore, has the ingredients to cook here, and they've got to let him cook. And Oscar's quick. Don't get me wrong. If this is next year and McLaren is still where it is and Oscar and Lando are fighting for the title, by all means, let Oscar send it and let Oscar beat Lando when he can. But right now, they have to let Lando beat Oscar. They have to.
Okay. I would just like to say one thing. Everyone who's watching, including you, Lewis,
Yes.
watch for Mercedes this weekend.
I'll be watching for Mercedes.
Because I think everyone's saying this is a McLaren Red Bull 2-horse fight here. Mercedes will be there.
I mean, I put Hamilton on pole for the sprint, so I'm not counting out Mercedes.
No, I know, but you're counting them out in terms of you've physically said yourself, Mercedes are not going to be quick enough to battle McLaren and Red Bull. Or Max.
Over a race distance, I don't think they have the facilities. Apart from Hamilton.
Watch it.
Okay.
I think Mercedes will be there on pace with both of them.
We shall see. Let's move to the flop of the weekend. I think we're going to have the same here.
Ferrari.
Yeah, Ferrari. I really hope I'm wrong.
I hope I'm bloody wrong. I love Ferrari.
I hope I'm wrong because I think it'd be good to see, especially, I don't know if I've showed my true colours or not yet, but I really want Lando to take this championship fight to Max.
Yes, you have. It's evident.
No, I do. I'm a McLaren fan at heart, so I always have been. But I'd love Ferrari to be in the mix to maybe make that a little bit more interesting. It's all well and good having Max and Lando be first and second every race fighting it out, or Oscar throw in there, but if Ferrari are quick, that just adds an extra level of uncertainty for both Max and Lando. So I think I'd love to see Ferrari in the mix. I just don't think they will. I think I think we've both got the same mentality here. We're looking at Great Britain. We're looking at the tracks in the mid-season that they weren't that amazing at, and it's looking potentially, unless they've sorted their issues out, that they might be fourth quickest here.
Yep. Without doubt.
Let's move on to the star of the weekend then. Who's going to impress you the most, team or driver?
Mercedes.
You go Mercedes.
I've got to go with Mercedes. I mean, their recent run of form before this break was not it.
No.
And I think if they come back here, they pick up a 1-3 in the race, they take it to McLaren and Red Bull, how can you not give it to Mercedes? If what I've predicted comes
Oh, if what you've predicted comes true, I think you have to give it to Mercedes.
Exactly.
So
I'm giving it Mercedes.
That's fair. For me, I've got Lando Norris because, well, I think I'd be stupid not to go with.
You're bumming.
But I've got. How can I not give it to Lando when I've given him the sprint race win, a pole position, and the win of the actual race? How can I not give it to Lando?
Okay.
You're stupid. Well, I'm gonna sit here and say Fernando Alonso or something. You know what I mean?
No.
Williams. At least I'm not saying Williams, bro. You want me to give it to Alex Albon? Huh? You want me to give it to Alex Albon?
We're finished. End it.
That's our predictions for the Austin Grand Prix. Whether we're deluded or not, I don't know. Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see for the sprint and the race and the quali and the I don't know whatever else we've got this weekend.